Hi everyone, it's me, Spring, the fiber enthusiast, and welcome to the channel. Today is a crochet stitch tutorial, and the tutorial is the flying shell stitch. Now I'm working it up in several different colors so you could see the individual rows. This is also what it looks like in a solid. So I'm going to show you both colors here. We have a dark purple for row 1, a pink for row 2, yellow 3, white 4, and this purple is 5, and then red I did for a 6th row, and I also just finished it off with a row of single crochets just to tidy things up and cut away from the ball of yarn. So, and this is the exact same thing, just in a solid. But for ease of viewing the individual rows, I decided to work it up in several colors. Now, this would be fun for color control work, and maybe even like a lapgan or a baby afghan or a throw, something of that nature. It would be a lot of fun to work all the different colors. You could color coordinate as you wanted to. But this happens to be a 4-row repeat. So we do our first row, and then you repeat 2, 3, 4, and 5. You just continue repeating those rows. Your multiples are 4 plus 1, unless you're adding, or unless you're working from a base chain, then you add 2. So that'll be dependent on whether or not you're going to add this into a project you're working on already, or if you're going to just work up a swatch and check out, the stitch and see how it's done. All right, I'm going to move those colors back out of the way. And we're going to start with the very first color here, the darker purple. Now, I am using a very, very light worsted weight with a 3.5 millimeter hook. That's entirely up to you, what you want to practice it with, or if you're incorporating it into what you're already working on, just keep using the same hook and the same yarn. This is just what I'm using for this tutorial. So I'm going to place a slip knot on my hook, and I'm going to chain in multiples of 4 plus 2 for my base chain. I will be right back. Okay, so I have a chain of 18. Now what I'm going to do is go into the second stitch from my hook. So I'm going to be working into the back bumps, of the chain. So I'm going to go and place a single crochet into the second stitch or second chain from my hook. Okay. Now I'm going to place a stitch marker there just so I know that that is the first stitch of this row. Now I'm going to chain 3, and back into that same stitch, I'm going to place 3 double crochets. So 1, 2, and 3. Now we're going to skip 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and into the 4th, we're going to single crochet and repeat. So single crochet, chain 1, 2, 3, and 3 double crochets into that same stitch that you single crocheted into. Then you're going to skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and into the 4th, you're going to place a single crochet and repeat. 1, 2, 3 chains, and then 3 double crochets back into that same stitch. 1, 2, and 3. And you're going to continue the same repeat to the end of your chain. 1, 2, 3, and into the 4th. Place a single crochet. Chain 1, 2, 3, and 3 double crochets back into that same stitch. 1, 2, and 3. Now we're down here at the end. We're going to skip 1, 2, 3, and into the last stitch, we're going to place a single crochet. Okay, so this is what we have for our chain and our first row. We have 4 of these slanted, kind of like corner to corner in a way, these slanted 3 double crochets and chain 3s. So now we're going to pick up the next color and we're going to work row 2, which is these V stitches. So I'm going to pick up this pink and slip stitch to where I left off, which is the last single crochet there of row 1. So I'm attached to that single crochet. Now I'm going to chain 1, 2, 3, turn my work, and double crochet back into that same stitch. I'm going to skip the next 3 stitches, so those double crochets, 1, 2, 3, and into the top of that chain 3, I'm going to place a single crochet. Now we're going to skip the next 2 chains and work into this single crochet down here. We're going to place a V stitch. So double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet all into that same stitch. Now you're going to skip the next 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and into the top of that chain 3, you're going to place a single crochet and repeat. V stitch into the next single crochet stitch there, which is double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, and then skip the next 3 stitches and into the top of that chain 3, you're going to place a single crochet. We'll do this again. V stitch into the next chain 1, skip the next 3, and we're going to single crochet down here into the chain, the top of that chain. Now, with our stitch marker all the way down here at the end, we now know that that is the last stitch. So now we need to do 2 double crochets with no chain space, just 2 double crochets into our very last stitch. And now I'm just going to cut away from the pink because that row is done. Row 2 is done. So now we're going to pick up yellow and work row 3, which is the yellow. Once again, I'm just going to attach with a slip stitch. And turn my work. Okay, so now we are going to single crochet back into that chain, into that stitch. I'm going to move my stitch marker up at this time. Now we're going to chain 1, 2, 3, and into that same stitch add 3 more double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Now we're going to single crochet to the single crochet stitch from the row below. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and 3 more double crochets into that stitch. So basically what we're doing is we're hopping over the top of those V stitches. So we skip the V stitch, the next 3 stitches, and single crochet into the following. Then chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and 3 double crochets back into that same stitch. Skip the next 3, 1, 2, and 3, single crochet to the next stitch, chain 1, 2, 3, and 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Skip your next V stitch, which is 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, single crochet to the next. Now we're going to do something a little bit different. You're going to chain 1, 2, 3, and we're going to do a 2 together double crochet over the next 2 stitches. So yarn over, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, and yarn over, go through 2 only. Now we're going to go into the top of that chain 3, yarn over, insert your hook into that top stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and go through 2 only. 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, and go through all 3 loops. That completes row 3. Going to cut away from this ball of yellow and pick up white for row 4. So here we have our row 3, which is yellow. And now I'm going to pick up the white. The white row 4 is another V-stitch row. So again, I'm just going to slip stitch to the very last stitch. Turn my work. And chain 1. And we're going to place a single crochet back into that stitch. And now we're going to work our V-stitch. You're going to go and put a V-stitch into that single crochet. So double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. And now we skip over the next 3 stitches, and into the top of the chain 3 is where you're going to single crochet. Now V-stitch into the next single crochet down here. 1 and 2 double crochets. Now single crochet to the top of your next chain 3. And V-stitch into the next single crochet stitch. Single crochet to the top of that chain 3, the next chain 3. And a V-stitch into the next single crochet stitch. Single crochet to the top of that next chain 3. Okay, so I've made it to the end of row 4. I'm going to go ahead and cut away from my ball of white, and we will do row 5 together. Row 5 is the last row, and you will repeat rows 2 through 5 in order to continue the pattern. So once again, I'm just going to get a slip stitch to where I left off. Okay. So now I'm going to chain 1, 2, 3. I'm going to turn my work. And I'm going to double crochet back into that same stitch. One, 2, 3 times. So 3 double crochets and your chain 3. Now we're going to skip over the V-stitch and single crochet to the next single crochet. So we're skipping that V-stitch. Chain 1, 2, and 3, and 3 double crochets back into that same stitch. Skip the next 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and single crochet to the next. Chain 1, 2, 3, and place 3 double crochets back into the same stitch. 1, 2, and 3. Skip the next 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, single crochet to the next. Chain 1, 2, 3. Place 3 double crochets back into that same stitch. 1, 2, and 3. Now you're going to skip 1, 2, 3, and single crochet into the next. And that will complete the 5 rows. As I said, you will repeat rows 2 through 5. I will timestamp them down below. Okay, everyone, so this is the flying shell stitch. I hope that you have enjoyed this tutorial. If you make something with this stitch, or you have made something with this stitch pattern before, please feel free to share in our Facebook group or over in a private email. You can share it and tag me on Instagram, all kinds of different ways. You just got to check out in the description box all of the links below of ways to contact me and support the channel. Thank you again for watching. Be blessed, be a blessing, and until next time, bye for now.